Welcome to part 2 of our two-part series on auto charts and how you can use the tools associated to give yourself a trading edge. In this part tutorial, we're going to go over how to use chart patterns and how you can identify chart patterns to take potential trades in the market. So whenever you go to TradeUI's site and you go to auto charts, it'll bring you to the automated charts page here. And then what you can do is type in any ticker you want. In this case, we have the S&P 500, also known as SPY. And click on data layers. In the previous video, we already went over the key levels and how you can use those to find potential entry and exit points. But now we're going to identify chart patterns. That way you can see where bullish flags, bullish pennants, or bearish pennants are located on charts. So let's look at the bullish flag. So if we click bullish flag here, we can see that there's a bullish flag formed on the S&P 500 over the past few days. It looks like over the past month or so, since May and June, and all the way to where we are at the end of June now. We see an actual pole forming on a bullish flag, and the AI generates the flag itself, showing the support and resistance line right here. And then it shows a breakout of the bull flag to continue upward. So in this case, it looks like we already broke out of the bull flag, and we're continuing upward on the S&P 500. But also see where this can identify different chart patterns. So let's look on bearish flags. So as you can see right here, we found a bearish flag down here. So I'm going to unselect my bullish flag just so we can see bearish flag a little bit better. So in this case, you can see that you need to reference option flow because it's not always 100% accurate whenever you use these different patterns. So in the past, I identified a bearish flag and it tried to break out right here. But as you can see, we reversed upward to the upside to continue up. So that's why you got to make sure you're not only relying on patterns, but you're using this as a potential entry point and combining it with your key levels to see if it makes sense to buy there. So let's look at bullish pennant and see if anything populates. So we don't see any bullish pennants populating. What about bearish pennants? We don't see any bearish pennants either. So in this case, we had a false bear flag and we had a true bull flag. But let's see how this works with a different stock. So I'm going to unselect everything, and then I'm going to go to IPG. So now type in IPG. It has the stock chart pulled up here, and I'm going to look on bullish flags. So it looks like we're actually currently in a bullish flag on IPG where we broke out right here, and it looks like we came back to back test and are continuing forward. So this looks like a verification that this bull flag expects IPG to continue upward. And if you want to, we can reference it with any option activity. So let's see if there's any large option activity that's outside the money. Currently there's not that's outside the money. But if we go to option flow, we can type in IPG, not UPG, IPG. And it looks like we actually had an option contract that's in the money, 436, expiring in 18 days. Now, this is a little more conservative because it is in the money. However, it is still option activity after a breakout of a bullish flag. So this overall looks bullish for a continuation upward. Let's see if there's any other past patterns we can find here. Is there any bearish flags? So here's a perfect example of a bearish flag down here. We ran right down to the stock, we formed our flag, and then we continued downward, came back up, and continued down even further. As you can see, this move was nearly identical to the length of the pole itself because we broke down, came up for almost a back test. So you would consider that actual rally to the upside there. But all in all, we continued our continuous downward spiral. So that is an example of how you can use the bearish flag. Let's see if there's any pennants. So I select bullish pennant, nothing. Bearish pennant, nothing. So you can see it will most commonly find bullish and bearish flags. Pennants do form on charts, however, they are not nearly as consistently populating as bull flags and bear flags. So just one more example, we'll do riot. And let's see if we can find a pennant here. So no bullish pennant, but we do see a bearish pennant. So the bearish pennant came down. Here's the actual downward trial forming our pole. And then you can see right here, we actually bounced around these two prices right here, squeezing and then pushing back down to the downside to continue downward. So this is a good example of how you can use chart patterns to identify potential entry, exits, and breakouts using the overall system we have here. All of this is based off AI and machine learning to give yourself a trading edge, because at the end of the day, we try to find ourselves the best edge to make a trade. So make sure you use key levels and chart patterns in your future trading endeavors.